Winter is definitely upon us and it is getting quite chilly outside. And if you've been keeping quail all summer, by this point you're probably wondering if you can really keep quail out in the cold or how hardy quail truly are. Well, right behind me is our quail cage setup for the winter because quail can definitely withstand pretty cold temperatures. They're a really cold hardy bird, and dependent on the breed of quail that you have, they can definitely be a more hardy version. We have Quaternic quail, which is probably one of the most hardiest quail breeds out there. That's really common if you are looking for both meat and eggs, and they are a great bird. We truly love raising all of them. And the really important factor to whether your quail can handle the cold is going to come down to their food, their water, and their shelter. And we're going to talk about everything that you need to know in order to prepare your quail for the winter. Okay, it's getting a little windy out there, so I wanted to take it inside. But just like we have our own winter coats, quail actually have their own set of feathers that can help them insulate in this colder time of year, allowing them to live in an area up to -20 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'll also include the Celsius over here as well. But you can tell that quail are going to do a great job of being able to have that hardiness factor all winter long. Although without help from the environment, it does make it a little bit harder. So you're going to need to step in and play mama bird here and provide some additional items for them in order to make sure that they can withstand the cold. I'm Danielle, this is our Homestead, and welcome to our channel. We bring you new content every week about living a more self-sustainable lifestyle and starting your own homestead through our journey of starting our own homestead. And if you aren't already part of the journey, then you definitely want to hit that subscribe button and give us a like, as it really does help our channel. But the first thing that we talked about is water. Just like humans, you really need to be hydrating, especially in the winter, to keep yourself nice and warm. And what we'll do is we'll actually come in and give them some fresh, warm water in the morning, and then throughout the day, maybe midday, and then again at night. And you're gonna see that all of the quail come running out to go fill up on the water before it does get cold. So you're definitely gonna wanna make sure to have water for them. The next important thing is going to be feed. You want to make sure that during the winter, you're definitely giving your quail a free feed and you're giving them a nutritious feed. We like to make sure that we're using a wild game bird feed or a chick feed that's going to be high in protein and also give all of the nutrients that our quail need in order to keep warm, especially because in the winter, they're going to be using a lot more energy in order to keep themselves warm. They do have their feathers, and you want to also make sure that they have a group of quail so that they can actually huddle together and get some of that body heat from one another, which brings us into the last scenario that you want to think about, and that is going to be shelter. During the summer, we keep our quail in a setup where it actually has its own automatic feed and watering system, but this ends up not doing so well in the winter because the pipes will kind of break and we like to just empty it out entirely. So we've actually made our own quail setup for the winter. And although I'm not outside, I'm going to show you a little bit about what it looks like. So on one side, we have an open area. This is where there's definitely some sunlight. It's open up to some wind in there. And this is where we'll put our feed and water. And you can tell that even on a cool day, quail are going to be outside in that section. And then on the other half, we have a fully contained side. This is going to be contained from any wind or openings. And this way they can go into that section in order to keep warm on really cold, windy days. And it's really important that you provide enough space to keep your quail dry and outside of the wind. So really make sure that you create a small environment for them to be in. In this on windy area, you can definitely see that the quail are probably going to hang out here the most. We'll add in some extra straw on the bottom to help insulate this section and really keep it warm. And you'll see that most of the time the quail are just going to be huddled in little groups. It can get a little crowded in here, so definitely make sure that you have a large enough space for your quail to be in, that it doesn't get too overcrowded, somebody doesn't get trampled or hurt in this scenario, but they have enough space to actually live in. You can also tell that our shelter is only around 2 feet tall. This is because quail will actually pop when they get afraid. So you either want to make sure that you have a shorter, kind of lower ceiling height, or you're doing more of an atrium style and you have around a 6 to 8 foot ceiling height for them to be in. We've also made sure that the bottom of this cage has grates on it. So we did use some kind of chicken wire here so that all of their droppings will go in here and it will be a lot cleaner. What we actually did was put this over our outdoor chicken run. This way all the droppings will go into the chicken area. The chicken can kind of go in through there, take whatever they want. They love having this stuff to kind of dig into, and it's going to help with some of the deep composting that we do throughout the winter within our chicken coop. The last item to think about is, will quail actually lay eggs during the winter? If you are loving your quail eggs, you want to make sure that they're continuing to lay them all winter, then you will have to do an additional step here. Because quail are reliant on the light in order to lay their eggs, you're going to want to have some supplemental light. So you could add a heat lamp in here in order to give some extra light rays to your quail during the winter, and this will help make sure that they actually lay eggs throughout the entire winter. Now, we don't do this at our homestead. We let them kind of cool off in the winter. They don't have to worry about laying any eggs as they would naturally do in the wild. They wouldn't be laying eggs because they're using that additional energy in order to keep themselves warm, and we give them a break from laying eggs. But if you do want to make sure that your quail are going to lay eggs, then I definitely suggest adding some additional lighting. Make it mirror kind of what a summer day would be. So instead of maybe 8 hours of light, you're adding 14 hours of light, just like summer would be. But that's really it. Quail are a very hardy bird, and you can definitely keep them outside. They can be in the colds, and I hope this video was helpful. We'll see you guys again next time.